So the metered paywall. Let's take a look at this. Okay, sorry, before we move on to that. Yes, Mark. Okay, I'm not sure exactly what that was a yes to, but thank you. I think you were just answering my question that I asked earlier. So Vera is actually saying here that we gave free content away from print ads. So that helps. We would also give subs away to draw attention. We gained more digital because it was convenient to go on any device. So yeah, I mean, giving away digital subscriptions is not a bad idea. We can talk about that as a tactic for growing your numbers, because you can, give the first month free, give them a coupon for the first month free, unlimited digital access, and then they have to pay for it to renew. So that's a great strategy. And I have nothing against giving something away for free on a limited basis, but I think you need to reset the expectation that this content costs money to produce. The digital revenue is not there from advertising, and as we're seeing at the New York Times, print advertising is going away. So we've got to come up with a new model, and there ain't no easy way out. Okay, as Tom Petty said, it's not going to be easy. So if you think this is just going to be like, welcomed by everyone in your audience, you just have the wrong expectation. People are not going to like it. No one likes to really pay, but if they want the news, then they will pay. And there's a certain subset of your audience that will pay. Okay, and so that's the bottom line. We want to serve those people. We don't need to please everyone all the time. Okay. Now, I want to also read this comment before we move on. This is from Mark. This looks good. We think the migration to PDF, which is the same experience as print, is the natural evolution of digital to digital. At some point, the PDF will replace the print circulation. Interesting. We consider the PDF not related to regular digital advertising. Interesting. No, that's a good point. Actually, we have some customers that have had that experience. During the whole shutdown, they continued creating that PDF, even though they weren't printing it every day of the week. We've got a couple dailies that had to scale back their print, but they were still creating PDFs as if they were going to print them, but just putting them on the website. So that's kind of in line with what you're saying. These are great comments, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Keep them coming. I'm going to take a break from them for a minute just to get back on track, but fantastic stuff. I really appreciate the feedback. So the metered paywall. Okay, this is probably the most common paywall out there today, because, it gives you the best of both worlds. Because if you look at your statistics, let's just look at it analytically. If you look at your stats on the site, you can see what, pretty much any stats program, certainly Google Analytics, will tell you what the bounce rate is. So how many articles does the average person look at each time they come to the site? It's usually around 1 or 2 articles anyway, the average reader. So with a metered paywall, you have the potential to not even really impact your website traffic that much. And that's actually what they saw at the Acorn. Their traffic is higher than it was when they launched the paywall. Now that has to do with a lot of different factors, of course. We can't really know what would have happened if they never launched the paywall. But if you have a metered paywall, that basically gives away a certain number of articles every month, or you can set it to every week to reset that meter. So let's take a look at what that looks like on rockawave.com. If I go to any article on the site, every article is technically behind the paywall, but I have this meter that gives me free access to, I think it's 4 free articles a month. So I'm down to 1. I could subscribe right now if I know I'm going to want to subscribe. I don't need to let the meter run out. We want to make it easy for people to subscribe at any time or log in if they already have a subscription. But let's go back and look at a different story. It's only if I look at a different article. I can look at the same one a number of times. See, that one may actually be free, because there are some that are going to be in front of the paywall too. But basically, when I run out of the countdown, then I'm going to, okay, so I've got 0 more articles left. So this article is now behind the paywall, and everything going forward is going to be behind it. So that actually counts down to 0, it looks like. And then it gives me that same login screen. It's exactly as it would look on a hard paywall or any other type of paywall. So in that case, I think of that as kind of giving the reader the decision. You know, all these other soft paywalls, the publisher's deciding, or it's determined by time what articles are free. But in this case, you're giving that choice to the reader, which I think a lot of them do appreciate. Okay, now here's the last model, and this isn't exactly a paywall, it's a registration wall, which I think is a great idea for every free newspaper to be doing at a minimum on their website, okay? Because rather than just leaving the site completely open access, you know, so that anyone can come in and look at all your stories, what this does is it locks everything down, but all you need to do to get access is to create a free account. So it's still a free website, but we're just asking them to basically provide their email in return for, you know, the unlimited access. And that's a great deal. Most people are willing to do. But you know, this also does cut down on the traffic that's just never going to be a real customer. You know, we know that people that sign up for a free account are good leads. You know, they're interested in our content. And so we can take those emails and monetize them in other ways. We'll talk about that in a minute. Well, actually, I'm not sure I go into that too much in this presentation. Basically, the way you're going to monetize the email is set up a regular newsletter that goes out at least once a week and sell advertising on the newsletter. So that would be, you know, if you wanted to stick with the ad model, you can sell access to those emails basically. And you know that those readers are engaged. You can report back to the advertiser the open and click rate. So this would be, you know, kind of like the lowest risk of all the paywalls. But as we'll see, it's also a great way to step into a paywall. So because you can start with the registration wall and then turn it into a paywall later, which is actually what the Chesterfield Herald is going to be doing down in Virginia over the next month. They're one of our customers. So Chesterfield Observers, excuse me. So let's take a quick break here for another webinar poll. Okay, this is just kind of, I'm curious, does anyone here have a newsletter going out to subscribers regularly? Okay, because that's your first step. If you could have a regular newsletter going out, then we can grow the email list with the registration wall, and you know, then convert those to paying subscribers possibly down the road, or just, you know, have a new ad product with the newsletter, running a banner ad on the newsletter. Okay, we're looking at 25% say no, 20% it's dropping. Looks like the majority, 60%, say yes. They send a newsletter at least weekly. So that's a great starting point. You've got the emails. When you have email, then you have a direct line of communication with your audience. Without it, you don't. I mean, you know, you could say that you've got 10,000 followers on Facebook, but at the end of the day, Facebook controls all that communication with those people. You have no control. You can put out posts, but you know what they end up seeing is all determined by the algorithms. So having people's email is the first step to developing that relationship, which you could eventually develop into a reader revenue model. So it looks like we landed at around 20% saying no, 60% yes at least once weekly, and then 20% at least monthly, but nobody doing it less frequently than monthly, which is good. That's kind of useless. Okay, so then now the registration, or sorry, the metered paywall on a free newspaper group. This is the case study. Let's break this down. Okay, so the Acorn group, I was actually living out in LA in fall of 2018. And I visited the Acorn group and talked to the publisher, and he sat me down and he said, man, I'm just so tired of people calling and canceling the print subscription, you know, print delivery, because I get all the news for free online anyway. You know, they would say it on the phone almost like a joke, and thinking that it was a good thing that they were canceling, but really, it really annoyed this publisher. So this drove him to develop a metered paywall model. And his model is very simple. It's $36 a year, $24 for 6 months, $5 per month, and $3 for single issue access. All those options auto renew except for the single issue access. And that's key to any paywall model. You have to auto renew. That's how all digital content works today. You know, you look at Netflix, you don't have to keep putting in your credit card every month or once a year to stay a subscriber. So auto renewal, multiple different options that are kind of correlated with different print options, I think makes a lot of sense. And this publisher is very happy with their paywall. It's been extremely successful. They have 5 papers in the LA area, just north of the city. And but you know, they're working at it. They're not just putting up a paywall and throwing up their hands and expecting it to work. They're trying different things, different promotions all the time, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But let me take a look here at some of these comments. Okay, so Mark says, I feel like we are penalized by Google because most of our web ads are native web ads. So as in like native content, Mark, is that, I need you to clarify that, like sponsored posts, is that what you're referring to? I'm not quite sure what you mean by native ads. Okay, and Adam says ours is daily with links to the date. Okay, I'm sorry, the timing on this is off. I think maybe you're talking about the newsletter. Yeah, okay, because Mark confirmed. All right, sorry about that. So you're doing daily newsletters. Great. I mean, that's good. That's very good. I mean, you guys publish 5 days a week, so I think that's really important for you to do with top stories and the PDF. Brilliant. No, that's key. I mean, think about it. What is the email? It's the original push notification, and it's the only way for us to cut through all the garbage out there today. I mean, there's so much coming at us through social media, you know, apps pinging us. You know, we have to, you know, kind of cut through all the noise somehow. We can't just expect people to think, oh, I'll just go visit the newspaper website every day. You know, there's got to be some type of a prompt, and most of the time a newsletter works very well for that. Okay, native ads. Thank you, Mark. Okay, native advertising. So you're asking, Mark, does the Acorn run a portal site? They actually do, but the portal site is really just a marketing thing for them. They don't sell their subscriptions through there. They sell the subscriptions site by site, which I think is the way to do it, because I mean, it depends on every market, but they have these 5 different papers and they're all covering different communities, even though they're in the same general area, you know, like on the scale of California, they're all local papers, but they have people that only want to subscribe to the Thousand Oaks Acorn, or people that just want Thousand Oaks and the Acorn, you know, so they can just buy those 2 subscriptions. They don't need to go to a portal site and get access to everything at once. So that's a good question. Mark asks, yeah, the Acorn is a weekly, okay? And when you say canceled delivery, is that canceling a paid delivery service? No, it's not paid at all. They don't even pay for the delivery. I don't believe. It's completely free, but they're canceling because they think they're doing the paper a favor. Oh, you know, I just get it all online anyway. You know, you don't need to keep wasting paper sending me that print edition. That's how the publisher put it to me, which is just like even more annoying, right? Okay.